I was gonna go put a white beater on, get my hair all straight, even hashtag this shit. I was gonna do all that great shit, and I might do that shit later. But I'm sitting here watching this shit about old boy at the CVS, right? Oh yeah, even these are indications of, you know what I'm saying, you know, physiological. You know. But I'm watching this. I'm watching old boy at fucking about the old boy at CVS calling the police on old girl about a coupon, and then listening to this white boy try to justify that shit, and he wants to take race entirely out of the equation. Race is a part of the equation. You can't take race out of the equation because there's two different racial dynamics. The man is even mentioning race within the description of the woman in relationship to the disagreement about the coupon. He didn't say just some person is here, but he describes her as an African American woman. Okay, so race is not taken out of the equation, but it's easy for white. That's part of the privilege. White people. Now, the man is having a discussion with a woman who has a white husband because she mentions that she asked her husband to handle certain situations because there's more. Because definitely a black woman is not going to ask a black man to handle certain situations that she feels uncomfortable in dealing with because she knows that situation is going to be more fucking complex with a black man involved. That's why a lot of situations I ask my wife to handle versus me handling because I know it's going to come a lot easier from her, from a black woman than it is from me from a black man. So, you know what I'm saying? And there's certain circumstances that I need to handle that she can't, that I need to handle just because of the way the system is set up, the social structure is set up. And it's just of so great, see the thing, where I'm at is that we can't have a conversation because they control the narrative. And whatever conversation we have, they're going to have the more calmer position because they have more control. They have more control of the narrative. That's what the whole idea of emotional, mental, psychological control comes from. It comes from an authentic sense of control. Black people don't have an authentic sense of control in relationship to the narrative. So anytime that you have a debate between a black person and a white person in relationship to the white media, in relationship with a white person has an authentic reality, a confidence that they have control over the fucking narrative, they're going to seem more calm in the conversation. And the fact that white people lose it in these conversations shows that there's an objective reality that trumps their subjective reality in which they have more control in. This is psychological. And these psychological fucking motivations, values, characteristics, and so on are not being brought to light in these circumstances because, one, the mental health establishment is controlled by white folks and only want to talk about mental health issues as they apply to white folks in relationship to their mental health or mental stability. And as they talk, as they relate to black folks, is our insanity. We always crazy. We are entirely y'all too emotional about this, and we are because we have a lack of emotional control in relationship to emotional interpersonal learning in relationship to emotional stability. And I was reading about that in Mikio Kaku right here with the future of mind. Your grades in school, your scores on the SAT mean less for life success than your capacity to cooperate, your ability to regulate your emotions, your capacity to delay your gratification, your capacity to focus your attention. These skills are far more important, all the data indicates, for life success than your IQ or your grades. These are fucking things that black people are discouraged in acquiring. Delayed gratification, emotional control, the capacity to delay our gratification, to regulate our emotional control, and our capacity to focus our attention. These are things that we are deterred from doing or actually persuaded not to do within the social system, the school system starting on, and therefore the media and all these other things. Black people buy, 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 because the only way that you can have any social standing is to have branding associated. I gotta have some Jordans. Now, I don't buy Jordans for the brand. I buy Jordans for the quality associated with the brand. I don't buy fucking expensive shit just so niggas can. That's why you buy fake shit. Niggas buy fake shit because they buy it for the brand and they want people to be impressed by the brand. They don't give a fuck about the quality associated with the brand. That's why white folks buy shit. Rich white folks buy shit, and that's why they don't want you to buy fake shit. Because they didn't want you to devalue the quality associated with the shit that they buy, not for the brand name, but for the quality associated with the brand, because that's what actual rich people do. That's a rich state of mind. That's your rich dad versus your poor dad. So, delayed gratification. I will take the time that it takes to buy a genuine pair of Jordans or a genuine Louis bag versus the time that it takes to buy a fake one. Delayed gratification. Emotional stability. These are the things that a group needs for success, not just an individual, but a group needs for success. These are the things that we are lacking as a group. So, you know what I'm saying? And these psychological realities, really, they're not even psychological realities. They're psychiatric realities. Because there's a biological root. There's a determinized instinctive root at the basis of it. That human beings have adapted a volitional ability or a volitional function to reason. And there are consequences when we do not utilize the volitional function to reason. These are things that we are just entirely unaware of. Like I was posting shit that I was posting like 5 years ago talking about I want to teach science classes because motherfuckers are stuck in this pseudoscience. It's epistemology. We have unauthentic epistemologies within the Black conscious movement. And that's why these authentic epistemologies are running us when it comes to, you know what I'm saying, the bourgeoisie, you know what I'm saying, fucking black or the talented 10th. Because the talented 10th is operating on a more authentic epistemology than we are. Yeah, I'm gonna get into the authentic epistemologies versus, you know, unauthentic epistemologies. See, the more that the more that we and her build, because she's really like into like curriculums and shit like that, and developing curriculums and study plans and shit. I don't do shit like that. That's not my strong point. My strong point is gathering information and sharing that shit, articulating that shit, comprehending it and articulating it the best way I possibly can. And specifically to a person right now who can put it in a format that makes it more accessible to the masses. But, you know what I'm saying? I was watching that shit this morning and I was just like, dude, okay, we cannot have a sensible conversation with white folks. We can't. We first need to start having a sensible conversation with one another as a group. And then establish some level of autonomy as a group. And then start talking about working on our issues with other people, with other cultures, with other ethnicities. Because we cannot even begin, because I'll take it to a biblical literature. If you can't get your own household in order, how do you expect to get this other house, this larger household? We first need to get our household in order before we start talking about the larger human family. We can't deal with the larger human family and our interactions with the larger human family if we can't deal with our maladaptive interactions with one another. And black people are mired in maladaptive interactions, behavioral traits that is exhibited in this debate between old girl and the white boy. You know what I'm saying? Where she had to where he had this sense of emotional control is entirely narcissistic. You know what I'm saying? And he's acting on a narcissistic, apathetic fucking frequency. But no one's gonna put light to that. It's just that he's just speaking his viewpoint. And that's unfortunate. And he doesn't have a viewpoint because he can't view this reality through the spectrum of race. Because race, he has the privilege of not having to see it. He doesn't have to live in this reality dealing with race, so he's entirely apathetic towards it. We're talking about trying to appeal to a group that is entirely apathetic to our circumstances. These are the hallmarks of Stockholm syndrome and a narcissistic personality or a narcissistic or an interaction with narcissistic personality disorder. He was gaslighting the fuck out of her. And he had white cohorts to sit in the back to fucking, you know what I'm saying, to be fucking flying monkeys for him. They didn't have to really say anything. Not only did they have to just sit there and allow him to gas her. And we have these dynamics where there's 3 white people and there's 1 black correspondent trying to argue for the side of black people, and then you got one white person arguing for the side of white people with an entire white structure, media structure behind him to support his argument. And she's just there dangling with, you know, maybe some sentiment from the audience in relationship to her argument. But for the most part, she has no media structure behind her to support her argument. Even though there's tons of data available to support her argument that says her argument is a more valid argument than his. However, he's on the side that controls 97% of the media. So therefore they control the narrative. Wake up, black folks.